Quaid Azam Part 385. Was this destination that we had in truth sought? The great Quaid, Gandhi or Nehru, the Congress? To travel permanently in combative compartments of separateness? After all, it was the same Jinnah who, on 14 November 1946, in a press meet, had spoken of an Indo-Pak Monroe Doctrine more solid than the Americas, or were they just words? In this press conference, which amongst the other things illustrated how ad hoc and ill-thought this idea of Pakistan was, to advocate on the one hand, as Jinnah did, a Monroe Doctrine more solid than America's, but on the other casually proposing an exchange of populations, this statement appeared as a single line item in the Dawn, 15 November 1946. Question about communal disturbances. Jinnah said, this exchange of population will have to be considered seriously as far as possible, especially after this Bihar tragedy. Of course, the painful history of South Asia cannot be altered, but that of Indian National Congress also acquiesced in this great tragedy of populations. Trudging into the unknown still horrifies. It is doubly unfortunate that the leaders of the freedom movement in 1947 failed posterity. That is why there is need to ask whether Jinnah actually reached that long sought after destination of the Muslims as a separate nation, or was that at all his destination or the goal of his struggle? I hesitate somewhat to venture further on this dangerous territory, placed as I am on the perch of this sharpened vision of the hindsight, and also on the edge of the unlimited potentialities of this new century, a new millennium. It is Pakistan and the Muslims in India that have to respond to this Jinnah's untenable notion of Muslims as a separate nation. Was not any geographical destination, it simply could not be. It was much more the search for a defining concept, but that too in itself was an error of profound and telling dimensions, which is why Jinnah got the land, even if moth-eaten, but failed to create a state, and failed so decisively in creating a nation. He and the others, Mountbatten also, Nehru, had helped out the land of India surgically and divide the people, but even they could not surgically or otherwise craft a nation to come into being. If in Jinnah's mind partition was a simple pragmatic solution, with two-nation theory as a temporary ideological justification, and with a marked sense of continuing unity with India's despite the partition, the Congress, as an unconvincing advocate of unity, made little allowances for the diversities of and in India, and in effect followed the policies which impaired that unity. Little thought was given to the autonomy or how it should spread in the Indian Federation. The famous Jagannath Rai resolution of All Indian National Congress Committee passed in 1942 opposed the grant of the right of secession to any member of the Federation. However, in September 1945, the Congress Working Committee, while reading this very resolution, said that in the same breath that it could not think in terms of compelling the people. Said in the same breath, it could not think in terms of compelling the people in any territorial unit to remain in an Indian Union against their declared and established will. The person in the Congress party who had given some thought to this problem was Maulana Azad. As he subsequently wrote in his memoirs, he had come to the conclusion that the Indian Federation should deal with just three subjects: defense, foreign affairs, communication, thus granting the maximum possible authority to the provinces